Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin. Today we are on lesson 13. We are going to continue the topics related to al-Ghufwa. Another vice that can occur to a person related to the maladies of al-Ghufwa al-Ghadabiyah is ill feeling to the creator and his creation. So this sickness, this malady, which is due to a person having distrust and cynicism about Allah the Exalted, or about the creatures of Allah and their deeds. So this person with this vice is having this vice which is interpreting things in a negative way. When they see something, they interpret it in a negative way. So they see somebody walking down the street, automatically their vice will kick in and they'll interpret it in a negative way. Oh, he's going out to be arrogant. Oh, he's going out to commit a haram. So they view the creatures in a negative way and their deeds, or about Allah. Something in their life will occur and they'll be negative towards Allah about it. They'll have distrust and cynicism about Allah. So they have this vice of ill feeling toward the creator or his creation. The opposite to this vice, the virtue, which is goodwill and trust towards Allah the Exalted and humans. Goodwill and trust towards Allah the Exalted and the creation. This is when a person has a favorable attributes towards everything. This is when a person has favorable attributes towards everything. This person, they are a positive person. They are a positive person, unlike the other side of it where they're negative. This person is positive. This person is giving excuses to others. This person is overlooking things. This person is accepting things as they are. This person is very positive. This person lives life in a very positive way. Unless there is clear evidence for something else. So he's not, blind to negative things happening. He's not blind to bad actions from the creation. He's not blind and just ignoring the realities. No, if he has clear evidences for something else, okay, then he knows something else has happened. Like if he's witnessed a murder, he knows that guy is a murderer. Can't give him an excuse. So this person, generally, they're very positive. They're viewing creation and they're viewing what Allah's will is. They're viewing these things very positively, in a positive way. They give excuses to the creation. They accept things unless they have a clear evidence that directs them away from that. So they're not completely, in a bubble, out of touch with the happenings of things, but they're overlooking and positive and giving excuses. So this is a virtue, and a vice is having ill feelings towards the creator or his creation. So we find in the Holy Quran, in Surah 48, Ayat 12, بَلْ ظَنَّنْتُمْ أَنْ لَنْ ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى أهلهم أبدا وَزُيِّنَ ذَلِكَ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ وَظَنَنْتُمْ ظَنَّ السَّوْءِ وَكُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا بُورًا. The transinterpretation of this ayat of the Holy Quran. Nay, you rather thought, ظَنَنْتُمْ, this is, you thought, أَنْ لَنْ يَنْقَلِبَ الرَّسُولُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ, you thought that the messenger and the believers إِلَّا أَهْلِهِمْ أَبَدًا, so you thought that the messengers and the believer, you thought that the messenger and the believers would not return to their families ever. وَزُيِّنَ ذَلِكَ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ وَظَنَنْتُمْ ظَنَّ السَّوْءِ وَكُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا بُورًا, and that was made fair seeming to your hearts, and you thought evil, you thought evil thoughts, you thought a bad thought, you thought a evil thought, and you were a people doomed to perish. وَكُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا بُورًا. So here you could see the importance of having positive, good thoughts. One thinks favorably about what their brothers do, unless they find something that proves contrary. So when you see your fellow Muslims, your fellow believers, you think positively about what they do. You think favorably about what they do, unless you have evidence that proves something contrary. Hence, one is not a distrusting person over here. A person who has this virtue is not one of those distrusting people. He says, as long as it is possible to consider right and good, one considers right and good. So this person who has this virtue, as long as it's possible to consider right and good, then he will consider right and good. Now, if a person has this vice of having ill feelings towards the Creator and the creation, to cure this vice, one must overlook whatever one may see and hear about his brother in faith, and preserve a good view and opinion about him or her in one's heart. So when they see this person, say they see this brother walking down the road, what they'll do is they will overlook. They'll overlook what they may see or hear about this brother, and they'll preserve a good view about him, direct their view about him, preserve a good opinion about him in their hearts, while being respectful and maintaining it, and have a loving attribute towards him. That's how one will overcome this malady of having an ill feeling about the creation of Allah the Exalted. So let us look at this narration we have in Kitab al-Kafi in volume 2. We have a hadith narrated from Muhammad ibn Yahya, from Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Isa, from Al-Hasan ibn Mahbub, from Malik ibn Atiyah, from Dawood ibn Farqad, from Abi Abdullah alayhi salam. So Dawood ibn Farqad, he says from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, who said the following: of the revelations that Allah the most majestic, the most holy, sent to Musa ibn Imran, Musa ibn Imran alayhi salam. This is Prophet Musa alayhi salam, one of the Ulul Azam. Prophet Musa. He was Musa, the son of Imran. So one of the revelations that Allah the Exalted sent to Moses ibn Imran, Musa ibn Imran, was as follows. Ya Musa ibn Imran, I have not created anything more beloved to me than my believing servant. I have not created anything more beloved to me than my believing servant. I try him only because it is for his good. I give him good health just for his good. I hold back what is evil for him in favor of what is for his good. I know best what conditions my servant works for his own best interest. He then must bear patience in my trials, appreciate my favors, and agree with my decision. I count him among the truthful ones. I count him among the truthful ones, as-sadiqeen. If he acts according to my rida, my pleasure, and obeys my command. So this is key. Key to the thing is that the believing servant must act in accordance of gaining Allah's rida, the contentment of Allah, the what Allah wants from you, and obey Allah's commands. So this hadith, which is Allah revealing to Nabi Musa alayhi salam, that Allah loves the believing servant. When Allah loves the believing servant, He tries him only because it is for his good, gives him good health just for his good, holds back what is evil for him in favor of what is for his good, and knows best what conditions his servants work for his own best interest. So then the servant, that's Allah's doing all these beautiful things for the servant of Allah. This servant now, he must use his ikhtiyar, he must bear patience in the trials. He must accept the favors of Allah. He must bear patience in the trials that Allah gives him, the test Allah gives him, and appreciate the favors that Allah gives him, and agree with the decision that Allah decrees. If he does this, he's counted amongst the sadiqeen, the truthful ones. If he acts according to the rida of Allah and obeys the command of Allah. So very important, have a good opinion about Allah the Exalted. Very important thing. So now we're going to move to the next faculty. We talked about the faculty of Aqliya, al-Quwwa al-Aqliya. We talked about the faculty of anger and some things about it, al-Quwwa al-Ghadabiyya. Now we're going to talk about al-Quwwa al-Shahwiyya. This is the appetitive faculty. So this potential in the human being relates to the animalistic desires, food, drink, and sex. This is what this relates to. So this potential or faculty in the human being is called ash-shahwiyya. The faculty of animalistic desires, we may translate this as, such as sex, food, and drink, is called the faculty of shahwiyya. This faculty has its virtue in chastity and moderation. So if you want, what is the golden mean of al-Guhwa al-Shahwiya? What is the golden mean of al-Guhwa al-Shahwiya? It is chastity and moderation. While it has two extreme vices, a negligent and an excess, and many vices in between, just like the other faculties that we have talked about. The virtue of this potential is chastity and moderation. Within chastity, one will not approach what is not allowed in the Sharia, nor what is unsuitable according to the aql, the intellect. Hence, a person is not letting their desires run wild for food, drink, or sex. They have it regulated according to Sharia, according to religion, and according to intellect. It's not like nafsul amara, which isn't reined in. It's a big problem with people. It's the ruin to many people. So they regulate it in accordance with religion, and they train it within discipline to be under the Amir of Aql, the leader of intellect, to suppress it from taking leadership of the human soul and taking the reins of the human soul and throwing it into destruction. So to suppress it from taking leadership of the human soul so that he or she becomes worse than the animals. So he mentioned in a hadith very early on about the angels and the animals and the human being. The angels were created with aql, without this animalistic desire. The animals were created with animalistic desire without intellect. Humans were created with both. So humans can be better than the angels and better than the animals. They could be worse than the animals. So in the end, if the shahwa takes leadership of the human soul, that person will become worse than an animal. And in the end, they would disobey the creator of all creation, of all contingent beings. And they would cause harm to their own selves and harm to their religion. So it's very important to have the Shahwiya faculty regulated by religion and aql. So you will not eat what is haram. You will not drink what is haram. And you will not have forbidden types of sexual pleasures. So we have a hadith in Kitab al-Kafi in volume 2 again, which is narrated from Ali ibn Ibrahim, from Ibrahim ibn Hashim, the father of Ali ibn Ibrahim. So that's why he says Abihi, from his father, and Abihi, from his father, and Hamad ibn Isa, from Hamad ibn Isa, from Hariz, from Zorara, from Abu Ja'far alayhi salam, our fifth Imam, who said the following: Qala, no obedience and worship in the sight of Allah is better than to be a chaste person in matters of stomach and genital organs. Batin wa farj. This is ifa, ifa, that to have min ifati batni wal farj, to have ifa on the stomach and the private part. So no obedience, ma obida Allah, no obedience in the sight of Allah is better than to be a chaste person in matters of the stomach and the genital organs. Very important area to develop virtues in, and a very dangerous area to have vices in. Then we have these verses of the Holy Quran. O Bani Adam, O children of Adam, attend to your adornment. It has been transinterpreted as embellishments. Zinata, it's Ya Bani Adama, khudhu zinatakum inda kulli masjidin wa kulu wa ashrabu wa la tusrifu innahu la yuhibbu al-musrifin. La yuhibbu al-musrifin. O children of Adam, O Bani Adam, attend to your adornment. They've been transinterpreted as embellishments. With every masjid, so they transinterpret at every time of prayer, every place of prayer, every place of sujood, masjid. And eat and drink. Wala tusrifu, and don't be extravagant. Innahu la yuhibbu al-musrifin. Surely he does not love the extravagant. Then we have in Surah 23, ayat 5 and 6. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَعْلُومِينَ فَمَنِ ابْتَغَىٰ وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. And who guards their private parts, except for their mates and those whom their right hands possess. For they surely are not blamable, but whoever seeks to go beyond that, these are they that exceed the limits. They are the adun. They're the adun. So chastity is not meaning that one deprives people of their rights or lawful joys and pleasures. Rather, chastity is within an amount and a limit which is suitable in accordance with the religion, not within vice, such as gluttony, greed, excessiveness, and not in total neglect and negligence and deprivation like monks. If we neglect such desires totally, it will have a negative consequences on us. It will have negative consequences on us. One of the biggest consequences we can mention amongst the biggest consequences is lack of appreciation and realization of the blessings of Allah the Exalted. but also it may cause physical and psychological harms, such as loss of one's life. If a person stops eating and drinking, or they eat only they give up on any nutritious food and eat just something very plain or something, maybe they'll get sick and they'll die. Um, or illnesses, they'll get sick and they'll have illnesses, or lack of morale. And of course, lack of appreciation and thankfulness, which is very important, to be appreciative and thankful to Allah the Exalted. So the treatment for the maladies are, firstly, is to keep in mind the benefits of chastity and to contemplate over the bad consequences of being unchaste. So if you want to treat this malady, sit and ponder and contemplate over the bad consequences of being unchaste and the good consequences of being chaste. One must also train themselves in moderation with food and drink. One also has to consider the evil consequences of excessive sexual desires and its immoral and material corruption. It's very harmful. It has bad consequences. One must avoid anything that stimulates such a desire, such as looking at the opposite gender with lust. One should seek lawful means for any desire, no matter if it's food, drink, or copulative desire. So a person should get married, as example. A person should buy some halal food. If they're having a problem with halal food, maybe they have a problem with seeing a Burger King advertisement, they could go and make a halal burger like the Burger King burger at home or something like that. And so they find a substitute, a halal substitute. So marriage mingled with taqwa is a good remedy for this last area. Marriage mingled with taqwa is a very good remedy. Many vices follow from this imbalance as well of the faculty of shahwiyah, such as hubat dunya, love of the world, love of wealth and riches, hoarding and lack of necessities, greed and avarice, miserliness, haram earnings, treachery, delving into haram and obscene manners. All these are vices that stem from the faculty of shahwiyah. So that is everything for this lesson. Inshallah, we'll talk about some of the different vices from the faculty of shahwiyah, and inshallah some of the joint vices before we end the course, inshallah. Wal akhir duwana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.